So most recently, it has become an off-season / pre-season period for most athletes that I coach and most athletes where I stay as well. So I thought this video is perfect because then I could discuss what not to do in your pre-season or off-season. Off-season and pre-season is very similar to each other. Off-season, the biggest difference that you find over there is that you don't have any formal trainings. So it's just you training. So there's really two schools of thought. You have one, it's just like a Ray Lewis type of mentality, all men are created the same, some people just work harder in off season, that type of thing. And then you have the school of thought where it's like catch a break, build into the real in-season part and let your formal trainings build into that. I don't really agree with either side of it fully. I do agree that you need to be resting, and there's not a lot that you could do really that will create significant change in 1 to 2 months of your off season or in your pre-season. It's more about what you can do consistently for a year to 2 years. And then on the other school of thought, I think being ill-prepared is stupid, and it's really, you could impress a lot of coaches. You can actually help yourself by being prepared for pre-season and training hard in your off season. So without further ado, I will quickly mention a few problems that I commonly see in training and mistakes that I made. So if you make these mistakes or if you're one of these mistakes, I'm not saying you're a stupid guy and you know nothing about what you're doing, even though it is a mistake. I did these as well, and that is how you learn from these type of things. Number one would be mixing your gym and your field work or your sports work all together to try and get a more sport-specific training environment. So let me start by saying this does not exist. The gym, and if you play a sport that is not in the gym, like powerlifting or weightlifting or whatever, then the gym is not your sport. You need to remember that. There are no barbells on the field. The gym is there to help you create general qualities, create and improve general qualities like speed, strength, power, agility, conditioning, whatever. On this side, you have your sport. This helps you to express the skill involved in this sport. And that is essentially what it is for. So it is non-specific. The gym is non-specific. All right, it's general qualities that you want to improve. The sport has specific skills. What a lot of people do is they mix this. You see a lot of tennis players in the gym, bands around their legs. You see a lot in tennis, kind of bands around their legs, and they're doing Bosu ball stuff. Rugby players, there's always a Bosu ball involved somehow with this type of training. But the worst I've seen with rugby players is the Bosu ball passes, which is strange to me because you could just go on a field and do passing over there, which is kind of more specific to what you will really be doing on a field. But anyway, let's not get involved with that. The actuality of this problem is that when you trace them together, when you put them together, and when you try and warp these two things together, you get no real result of either one. You're not doing true skills training and you're not doing true gym work. So at the end of the day, what are you really getting? Nothing. And that is why you should never fall down this rabbit hole. I fell down this rabbit hole. I did gym passing. I took my rugby ball to the gym, where I could have just taken it to a field where I actually play, like a rugby field, and practice skill over there. I've seen some people do tackling technique in the gym with like a med ball and like a handoff thing with a band all together. And this was nice to see because this inspired me to talk about this in this video. And people do this. So that's mistake number one. Don't do it. Keep them separate. Really, really work hard on your actual sport specific skills. And two, really, really work hard on developing general, non-specific qualities in the gym. Mistake number two is only gymming. So in pre-season and off-season, S&C is getting bigger. So we see a lot of people trying to get bigger and stronger. But the equation stops right there. It doesn't go much further, and you forget that most of you are still involved in a sport. You're still playing a sport with different rules, different requirements, different skills, and just getting bigger and stronger probably won't help you become much better than that. I would say for most people that already have a good base, getting even bigger and even stronger is not what's going to set you apart from the rest, but more becoming really good at your sport. And something that you forget is that at the base of being good at your sport is being a good athlete. And you need to spend time doing athletic things and playing sport to become good in other sports. So a lot of things you'll see in the beginning of preseason is people struggling to pass and catch a rugby ball, people struggling to react well, people moving really badly within the sport, or within small drills or small-sided games. And a lot of times this has to do with just gymming and having no type of work where you are actually just playing informal sports. This is a very underrated concept in preseason and off-season training. And this doesn't even have to be your own sport. For my own development this year, I did a lot of recreational play in my off-season as a form of conditioning, but also as a form of having these sporting actions and reactions in my development still. So in my training, I still have it present, even though I don't have formal trainings. And this could make it even better on the field, or it can help you maintain those type of sport-like reactions while preseason starts and not have that dip that most of everyone goes through. So this could be literally like playing paddle, playing soccer, five-a-side football, playing tennis, playing touch rugby. For me, I played a lot of touch rugby. I played a lot of paddle. I played a bit of fives football. I played some tennis. And this is a great part of my development. I still did a lot in the gym, but the main problem here is that people only gym. And that cannot be your only development in the off season. Getting bigger and stronger. And here, I'm gonna break a lot of 17-year-olds' hearts. The amount of hypertrophy and muscle gain you're gonna see in this 1.5 months of off season is gonna be so little. If you really see anything, it's probably because you got fat in the off season and really not because you gained muscle. So this is not a hypertrophy block that you are doing. You are wasting your time and losing athleticism at the same time. So keep your training balanced. So you need to be training specific skills, do your real sport like, play recreationally, play informal versions of your own sport, and gym. You can split those hours, make a thing 3 hours gym, 2 hours sport specific skills, and 1 to 2 hours every week. And that's not a lot of training, guys. If you're a young kid and you're in high school, going outside to play with your friends in a park and playing a bit of touch rugby or playing a bit of football, that's not difficult. That should be easy for you, and that should be part of your development. However, because S&C is getting so big, athletes are getting bigger, kids and youth athletes are absolutely obsessed with getting bigger and stronger. So you see that this is not as important anymore. Well, I think back in the day, play used to be a more natural thing for kids. Playing touch rugby with your friends, football with your friends was a more natural thing. But now we are lacking it in a lot of development. And even in older athletes, we are lacking it. So make sure you include this even in your preseason training still. Number 3, for the last mistake that a lot of people make, is seemingly more popular with rugby players, and that is becoming a marathon runner. I think this is a big trend I see. You see all these athletes posting their running distances on their Strava or whatever watch they had. And it's great that you're doing something, but that something is so far away from what it's really needing to, what you think it is preparing you for. And that is where the problem really is. If we think about a lot of rugby players who run 10Ks in their off-season and pre-season, it's probably fine if you do it once or twice with your girlfriend. Yeah, that's fine. Or if you really like it. But this cannot be your main part of conditioning. And it's not helping you as much as you think it's helping you. So, to break down, most rugby players, if you've done preseason, you know your main 2 tests are usually Broncos or it's going to be a bleep test. Tell me if any of those tests will have you running further than 2 kilometers. The Broncos 1.2 kilometers, and a bleep, if you're really good or fit and you go high up in a level, maybe 1.5 to 2 kilometers at most. And it's not even utilizing the same energy systems. So this is something you need to remember. It's not really preparing you for that. And with that, you are also not being prepared for these high intense sporting actions like changing direction, accelerating on a dime. It's not preparing you for that either. So I would say try and stay away from those and actually train more sprints in your off season and pre-season and a bit of conditioning. This should be a big focus, not a lot of 10Ks. Remember, 10Ks are slow. It's the easier thing to survive. I would much rather run a 5 to a 10K and bet money that I won't be injured than I would if I said, well, I'm gonna go play a chaotic sport where I will be sprinting and changing direction chaotically. My money is on running in a straight line on a road with no opponents and running slowly. My money is there for not being injured. You are not as prepared as you think you are when you do those things. So athletes, when you are listening to this, no, obviously I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying what you're doing is stupid. If you like it, do it. But that cannot be the bulk of your training for conditioning. Instead, I would focus on always trying to get what you know you will not be getting from your club trainings. So if you're not gymming at your club, so you're not a professional, gym by yourself. If you are doing a lot of conditioning in preseason with your club, do sprints by yourself. If it's other way around, which I don't think it is, because not a lot of clubs are into sprinting and getting the athletes faster, I would say do conditioning if they were doing a lot of sprints. So that is something actually at that point you can take and you can apply it to off-season, pre-season, in-season. Whatever you are not currently getting at your training, you should be trying to give yourself in your own training. And that is a good tip you can take with you. So for my last point, if you're someone who is struggling with programming, you're someone who doesn't know what to do when you go to the field, and you want a bit of more insight, you want a bit of help, and you want good programming, I just released a program called Athletic Endeavors. It's a training on my app. You can get it through my website or through my Instagram if you want to contact me at MoveMePC. And really easy, this training program is a concurrent training program, meaning every single month I will update the training block. It's about 4 to 5 days per week, depending on what our focus is. In the training block, it has gym sessions and field sessions, and it focuses on getting you stronger, faster, building muscle, and getting you conditioned. It's a great balanced program to run. I run all the stuff that I give you, I run myself as well. So I'm also currently running that program, and it really only costs $10 per month. For South Africans watching, that's about 170 to 180 Rand. So it's a really cheap training product, and that's the whole thing I wanted to do with my Athletic Endeavors group, is create a product that is very affordable and still good quality. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I hope it helped you, because I know I made a lot of these mistakes that I just mentioned right now, and hopefully this can help you have a great season for the rest of the year.